Hi folks, Heather from the Bee School here. It's Christmas Eve and we've just come up to check on the bees after the storms over the weekend. So I think we had around 60-mile-an-hour winds. Thankfully, the apiary's a little bit kind of carnage. All the stuff you can see lying around is just hives that we stacked up for storage, so they weren't tied down. We did lose one nuke box just over there. I said lost. It's strapped down to the stand, but the stand had toppled over. So I imagine the bees will be all right inside. We've just put it upright and secured the stand down. We just come up, really check on them after the storms and check their feed as well. So all is looking good. They've all got lots of stores still. We'll show you a little video on that. Lots of stores, all doing very well. Lots of flying today, and yeah, they're doing okay. It's very warm today, so it's probably why the bees are very active. A bit pokey with us being at the hives, but that's part of the course. So that's us for the end of the year. Have a fabulous Christmas, everybody. All the best for 2025. Hopefully we'll see you all in April and through the rest of the summer. And hope you enjoy your Christmas with whatever you're doing, friends, family, even if you're just spending it at home alone. Sometimes that's really nice. So whatever you're doing, have fun, and we will see you next year. Take care. So this is one of the other hives. It's really hard to kind of pick up what's going on the camera through the plastic. So you can see these girls way more busy and active than the previous hive. They're enjoying this fondant. They do actually have enough of their own food. As well, if we go into here, I'll be able to see this kind of translucent honey on the top there, just in that frame, just where that bee is about to walk. That's honey. So we always try and leave them enough honey to sustain themselves over winter. The fondant really is just a kind of belt and braces, so we don't have to worry so much, and they've got enough food. But yeah, here they are going for the takeaway option. But I'm kind of okay. They've got this Hive Alive fondant. It's got lots of nutrients and additives in there for bee health, so at least they're not just getting just plain sugar. Sugar's no good for anybody, let alone the bees. So yeah, these girls doing amazing. So just to introduce you to these girls, this is Rose. She came from somebody's porch, so we had to get them out basically, rehome them, fed them loads while they were here, and thankfully they've built up all this food, all these stores. So no fondant for these. Feeding them in these nuke boxes is quite tricky with fondant. That's where the sugar syrup goes in there. So we'll just keep a very close eye on these and just monitor how that food is going. But you can see they're doing fine, they're very active, so that's good. And you can see the condensation in there from the heat. Probably need maybe a little bit more airflow going on in there to remove that, so we'll take a look at that. Okie dokie, since we're up at the apiary and feeding the girls, having a general tidy up after the storms, let's talk through some hives, and this one in particular. We use British Standard National hives. These are kind of probably what most hobbyists use. We use British Cedar. This particular one here looks like it's an inherited one, and I think it's been self-built, at least parts of it anyway. So if we look at one of our newer hives, you can see this lip in here. So that will sit on top of this section here, which then leaves a gap between the roof and the crown board. This is the crown board or the cover board. This roof here, which belongs to this hive, you'll notice doesn't have that lip. And if we look at the crown board or the cover board, which I think is homemade, also doesn't have a raised edge to it. So this one here, if I move this out of the way, be able to see, there's a kind of a little bit of a lip there. So that combined with this lip here creates a little bit of a space, which means we can have the fondant on really without add in any extra space, which keeps the air in, keeps the warmth in, and just gives the bees the kind of heat that they need. So this one here, because it doesn't have the lip on the crown board, we need to feed them. We want to reduce the space, the airspace, and this roof doesn't have a lip. So this thing here is called an eek. You can let people make these. Literally, it's just a kind of raised piece of wood frame. It sits on top like that. That now creates a space between the crown board or the cover board and the roof. So we can put the roof on top of here. It won't squash that fondant. It will sit nice and snug. We'll tie it back up and job done. So a little bit of what goes on inside the hive.